Good afternoon, my people. What is going on? It is your main man, Charles Tank Harris, the founder and chief visionary officer of the financial literacy platform Wealth Our Way, where our motto is wealth is not only for the wealthy. I want to welcome each and every one of you to episode 161, 3 tips to help survive the recession. But before we get into all that, I got to practice the attitude of gratitude and thank each and every one of you who are here with me as I stream live across the Wealth Our Way Facebook page and Wealth Our Way Network YouTube pages. Please, 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 if you haven't done so as of yet, go and subscribe to the Wealth Our Way Network YouTube page. I also want to give the Wild Nation salute to all the members of Wealth Our Way Nation who watch this program in its pre-recorded fashion overnight, over the weekend, on their lunch break, wherever they can squeeze 15 minutes of financial literacy in. And then last, but certainly not least, a heartfelt how are you to the good folks on the Life 101 platform who listen to the audio recording of this very here program. Man, I hope you guys had an amazing and wonderful holiday weekend. I want to give my condolences and heartfelt just thoughts and prayers to everyone who was in Illinois who, just their families and loved ones were victims of this shooting in Highland Park. There were also, it's just getting to the point where there are so many numerous tragedies that you can't even give a moment of silence and a shout out to everybody because it's just going on everywhere, all over the place. And I don't want to turn 15 minutes of finance or my platform at Wealth Our Way into a political type of situation, but I am so for there being some type of gun reform. It is just way too out of hand at this point. There has to be some intersection of what the founding fathers meant when they wrote the Second Amendment in the Constitution as far as the right to bear arms and what's going on now. It's crazy. So prayers to everyone who's been negatively affected by the gun violence across the country, in my dear home city of Philadelphia, in Chicago, outside of Chicago, and the like. With that being said, we are talking about the recession. And I heard so much conversation this weekend as people were getting ready for their 4th of July celebration. One of my real good friends, my boy Frenchie, shout out to Frenchie and my TUMF crew, my Temple University brethren and sisters, talking about shopping for chicken wings, and that they had realized within a 30-day period that the cost of chicken wings had doubled. So I order pre-cooked meals at home, Factor 75, not a shout out for them, but I order meals because I'm a dude. I got to take care of my son. Cooking is something that I can do, but it takes time, and it's just easier for me to have the pre-made meals, throw them in the microwave, 2 minutes later I'm eating. But the cost hasn't necessarily gone up on those yet, but I anticipate that they will. But right now, people who are shopping every day in the supermarket are seeing prices across the board go up. My son, he's with his mom right now, and he calls me yesterday and asked me if he could order Uber Eats. And we just had to have this very lengthy discussion about the cost of the delivery services and just how food itself is going up so dramatically. And then when you add to it these conveniences that we have grown used to, how it just becomes a non-suitable and affordable thing to do on a daily basis. So I want to give you guys 3 tips that should help you navigate this next 3 to 12 months. If you have been an avid follower of 15 Minutes of Finance and Wealth Our Way, we've been prepping for this period in time for the last year. We've been talking about a recession. We've been talking about shifting your investment assets to the point where they can be recession proof. We've been talking about having more cash on hand. So these are things that will enhance these other tips. If you're new to Wealth Our Way, if you're new to 15 Minutes of Finance, don't fret. These tips will still help you. What I've come to realize, I am an avid reader of financial publications every day. I listen to a lot of different advice on the internet because I have the ability to glean between the good advice and the bad advice. My good friend Kamari Ellis, shout out to the Finance Rebel, was talking about the number of financial pundits who actually are, it's kind of this breed of people, and they're feeding off of each other, trying to get your money out your pocket, where the ones that have the biggest social media followings, they charge the other people to come on their programs and talk about whatever it is they want to sell. And because they have so many eyeballs, people instantly give them credibility and validation, and they start doing these things. And the only thing that ends up happening is you're suckered out of your money. So I will always provide this forum at 15 Minutes of Finance where it's free for you to come and hear different financial tips. I also always tell everybody in the chat, you can ask me any question and I will answer it. Send me an email or an inbox, and I will make it a topic of a future 15 Minutes of Finance. So what 3 tips can we take right now that may seem obvious to some, but not so much to other people, that can help us? What are we all going to do during the recession? So there are certain things that are considered consumer staples. By consumer staples, they mean whether things are good economically, bad economically, we're still going to do these things. The number one thing that we are still all going to do during a recession, during good times or bad, is we're going to eat. We have to eat to survive. So I started off with this story about my son. My son, even though his dad is a financial planner, he doesn't really, economics doesn't necessarily hit home for him on a high enough level for it to resonate right now. So as a 14-year-old, he's just like, Dad, can I? I think that's his, the first 2 words of his vocabulary are can I or may I. So with that being said, we have to find ways to more economically feed ourselves moving forward. I am not a proponent of limitations on things that make us happy. I am not that financial person. I am not the person who sits up here and tells you not to buy a new pair of shoes or to go get a new car. What I do is I help my clients budget and afford the things that they wish to afford. However, with that being said, there are certain times where we go into a state of emergency and we have to make short-term adjustments to our long-term plans. Right now, the short-term adjustment that we should all be thinking is to not spend money that does not have to be spent. So when we think about privileges and wants and desires like eating out, these are some of the things that we can adjust, and they add so much more to our life than just saving us money. If you think about it, now, I do understand. I just got finished telling you I don't like to cook at the house and things of that nature. So it's pretty easy for someone who's not doing the cooking to say you should cook more. But I will be the first to tell you, I made a salad the other day at the house. I used a little salad spinner thing where I had to push down, and it drained the vegetables for me in my salad bowl, because even I am realizing that paying a premium to eat out right now is not a great idea. It is not going to restaurants where you pay 30 to 60% more for the food that you're eating because it's being prepared and served to you. You then pay for tips and gratuity for the people who served it to you. You often are paying for gas, maybe valet parking. If you assess how much money it costs to go eat out, even if you're just driving through Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or Wendy's and ordering a number 3 or a number 9 or a number 4, you are paying a surplus on the cost of food that is already dramatically more expensive than it was just 3 or 4 months ago. So tip number 1 would be spend more time eating at home. Even when you're getting your groceries, please take advantage of the discount clubs, Sam's, Costco. I think BJ's is still in existence. You want to buy bulk, even if you have to. And these are things that I'm being completely forthright and honest about with you. If these are some things that may seem too below you or beneath you, then that's fine. I make a good amount of money, and if I'm not too humble to do it, I don't think anybody else should be too humble to do it. But bulk shopping, if you know you have a group of friends and y'all all are ordering different things, you can get 50-pound bags. We were talking at an event that I was at yesterday, and I did this last year, where we actually went, me and 2 of my friends went thirds on a quarter of a cow. So I went thirds on a quarter. I got 1/12 cow, if you did the math. And we're still, to this day, the food is in the freezer, tightly wrapped and flash wrapped so it won't freezer burn. And we are still enjoying that meat to this day. And you can get cows, pigs, chicken. There are all different types of ways. If you are looking to save money on your food costs, now is the time to put these practices into place. It is definitely a time to bulk shop where you can, buy items using coupons, using food shopping services that show you discounts when you buy. Tip two, something else that unfortunately is going through the roof. I see Sister Lindsay is in the house, and I know this hits her hard being in California. Gas. Gas for your car is at an all-time high for our lifetime and our generation. Gas has probably never been as more expensive as it is today for you if you are hearing my voice. So the number one thing you would say to yourself is, hey, let's cut back our travel in our car. And fortunately, one of the good things that came from the pandemic is we have learned how to do more things in home or closer to home to avoid being around so many people than we have in the past. So that is something that has provided us with a good mentality moving forward. Tip number two would be to reduce your gas expenses. I currently am a member of 3 different fuel reward programs that give me anywhere from 10 to a dollar, 10 cents to a dollar off per gallon. If you're in the Northeast and you're near a Wawa, Wawa is constantly running gas specials. Sheets, I don't know how many of you are located near a Sheets gas place, but they're 30 cents to 89 cents off a gallon. There are special apps on your phone that will tell you where the cheapest gas is and tell you what programs are being run to give you discounts on different gas places. Today is the day for you to change your mindset on being lazy or not wanting to be bothered with these extra tips. Saving, I have a Ford F-150. When my truck is empty, it takes 35 gallons to fill up. I have been at gas pumps of late and put $170, $180 worth of gas into my truck. It's ridiculous. And unfortunately, unlike the advice I'm giving, I drive a great deal. So I've had to fill my car up 3 times in a 2-week period sometimes. And we're talking about $540 worth of gas in a 2-week period. You better be looking for these gas discounts. The third thing, and this goes to when we do have to spend money, it's a couple of things in one tip. Tip one, please make sure that the credit card that you are using, and we've talked about this on previous programs, has some type of cash back or rewards program associated with it. I'm always telling my faithful Wild Nation members that when you use your credit card, you would like to use it as a charge card as opposed to a credit card. The difference being you are paying whatever balance you accumulate off within the billing cycle. Basically, you're using a bank's money for a 30-day float, interest-free, and you're paying them back in full. Why do you do that? Because 2 reasons. A, your money gets to stay working in whatever interest-bearing account that you have it in for those 30 days. But more importantly, if you are getting some type of cash back, I have a 3% cash back card. So anything I spend money on, I'm actually getting a 3% discount on. And getting that discount doesn't cost me anything because I'm not letting the bank charge me interest. So by all means, make sure you're using a card that gives you some form of cash back. The other thing inside of tip number 3 is we're talking about utilizing and reducing costs. I would not refinance anything right now. Interest rates have risen so quickly over the last 3 months that refinancing things is not necessarily something that's going to save you money over time right now, because the interest rate that you'll pay, and don't get me into the whole fact that you refinance some things that you have a shorter interest period paying on, and you make that period a longer payback period. But what I would look at is extraneous costs that are not providing me value right now. I would take a look at every subscription that I have. And I say that knowing that Wealth Our Way is a subscription for most of my clients, pay a subscription financial planning fee. But note that I said things that aren't giving you value. You want to take a look at these subscriptions, and you want to make sure that you're reducing the ones that are costing you money and not adding value. So those are my 3 tips for how to survive this recession. We will be live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. with the financial Power Hour. I got two great guests. Please check out the Instagram page and the Facebook Wealth Our Way page to see what's going on tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I look forward to seeing you there. And as is always the case, I will remind you to understand, know in your heart that wealth is not only for the wealthy. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.